Okay, so you want to level up your mobile game, right? And not just by like adding another level or like a cool new power-up.
Yeah.
You're thinking bigger.
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking about security.
Yes.
And let me tell you,
Okay.
that's a really smart move.
It is.
In today's world, it's not just about creating an awesome game.
Right.
It's about building trust with your players.
You've got that right. Especially those high-value players.
Yeah.
The ones who really invest in your game.
Absolutely.
You know, we're talking about the players who make those in-app purchases.
Yes.
The ones who keep coming back for more.
Yeah.
They need to know you're taking their security seriously.
Absolutely. Think of it like this.
Yep.
You wouldn't build a castle on a foundation of sand, right? Your game's security is the foundation for everything else. Player trust your reputation, even your revenue.
Yes.
And that's where this blog post from the CTO of Appcharge comes in.
Okay.
It's a really interesting look at how they approach security.
Interesting.
It's a great roadmap for us today.
What I find fascinating about their approach is that they're not just focused on the technical stuff,
Right.
although that's obviously important.
Yeah.
They're really trying to build a culture of security.
Yes.
And that's something that any developer, big or small, can learn from.
I totally agree. So they kick things off by talking about SOC2 compliance.
Okay.
Now I know what you're thinking.
What's that?
SOC2? What in the world is that?
And why should I care?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, imagine this. You're a player and you're about to drop some serious coin on a sweet new in-game item.
Okay. But then you hear on Twitter that the game you're playing just got hacked and they lost a bunch of player data.
Oh, no.
Are you still going to make that purchase?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Right.
And that's a perfect example of why SOC2 compliance is so important.
Okay.
It's a way for companies like Appcharge to prove to you, the developer, and ultimately your players, that they're taking data security seriously.
Right.
It's about things like making sure their systems are secure, their data is encrypted, and they have procedures in place to prevent unauthorized access.
Mm-hmm.
So SOC2 is like having a really good security system for all your data.
Yeah, okay.
But how do you actually know if a company is truly SOC2 compliant?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, anyone can just say they're doing these things.
That's where the audit comes in.
Picture this: a team of independent experts swooping in, scrutinizing every nook and cranny of their systems, policies, everything.
Wow.
This isn't a quick glance.
Okay.
It's a deep dive into how they handle your data.
Oh, wow.
And if they pass,
Yes.
well, that's a pretty good indicator that they're walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
So it's like getting a seal of approval from the security gurus.
Exactly.
And that peace of mind.
Yes,
It's invaluable.
it is.
Okay, so we've got our secure foundation with SOC2.
Right.
But building a secure game is not a set it and forget it kind of deal,
Right. No, it's not a one and done type of thing.
Technology is constantly evolving.
Yes.
And so are the ways people try to exploit it.
It's like a digital arms race.
Yeah, it is.
Which is why the next point in the blog post is so crucial: penetration testing.
This is where things get really interesting.
Yes.
It's kind of like hiring ethical hackers.
Yes.
The good guys.
Right.
To try and break into your game.
And believe me, they will try everything they can to find a weakness.
Really?
They'll poke and prod your systems looking for vulnerability.
Oh, wow.
But here's the thing. It's not about making your game impenetrable.
Okay.
It's about finding those weak points before the bad guys do and fixing them.
Right.
It's about staying one step ahead.
So it's like they're constantly running drills.
Yes.
Making sure that the defenses are good.
Exactly.
You'd never see a bank with just one security guard, right? They've got cameras, they've got alarms, the works.
Yes.
And your game, especially if you're dealing with these high-value players, needs that same level of protection.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another layer of security:
Go.
protecting player data.
Okay.
Think about it. Those high-value players that we keep talking about,
Right.
they're putting a lot of trust in you.
Yes.
Not just their money, but their personal information too.
Yes.
And that's where GDPR comes in.
Okay, GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation.
Yes.
This one's a bit of a mouthful.
It is a bit of a mouthful.
But it's super important, especially for anyone who wants to tap into that European market.
Absolutely. You see, GDPR is all about giving players more control over their data.
Okay.
It's about transparency.
Yes.
Letting them know what information you're collecting, how you're using it.
Right.
And it's about giving them choices,
Okay.
like the right to access their data or even have it deleted.
And it's not just about being nice. There are some pretty serious consequences for not complying with GDPR, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
We're talking hefty fines,
Yeah.
potentially millions of euros.
Wow.
and the hit to your reputation.
Yeah.
That can be even more damaging.
Yes.
Players talk.
Right.
And if they don't trust you with their data,
Right.
they'll find another game to play.
Yikes. That's a risk no one wants to take.
No.
So how does Appcharge handle all of this?
Well,
they're obviously dealing with a ton of player data.
That's right. And from the sounds of this blog post, they've really baked GDPR into their DNA.
Okay.
They're talking about things like data encryption.
Oh, okay.
Basically scrambling that information so it's unreadable without the right key.
Right.
And they're really big on consent management.
Yeah.
Making sure players are fully informed and agree to how their data is being used.
So they're not just checking boxes.
No.
They're really trying to build a system that respects player privacy.
Exactly.
From the ground up.
Yes.
Which honestly should be the goal for any game developer.
100%.
Yeah.
And this leads us nicely to the final piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
Securing those financial transactions.
Right. We've talked about securing the game itself.
Right.
We've talked about protecting player data.
Yes.
But what about the money?
Exactly.
Because let's face it, if you're dealing with high-value players,
yes.
you're probably processing a lot of transactions.
Exactly. And that's where PCI Level 1 comes in.
Okay.
Think of it as the Fort Knox of payment security.
Okay, so we're talking serious business here.
Serious business.
Yeah. But what does PCI Level 1 actually mean for a game developer?
Okay.
Especially one who might be using a platform like Appcharge.
It means they need to be sure that Appcharge adheres to the highest standards of payment security.
Okay.
This includes things like using secure servers, encrypting all sensitive data, and undergoing regular security audits.
Right.
Remember those independent experts we talked about earlier?
Yes.
They'll be making sure everything is up to snuff.
So it's like having a team of digital bodyguards
Yes.
protecting every single transaction.
Exactly.
And this is something that a game developer needs to actively think about,
Yes.
even if they're not directly handling the payments themselves.
Exactly. It's about due diligence.
Okay.
Asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to get into the nitty-gritty. Right? Ask your platform provider, are you PCI Level 1 compliant?
Yes.
And if they are, great.
Right.
Ask them what measures they're taking to maintain that compliance.
Because at the end of the day, it's your game.
Exactly.
It's your reputation on the line.
That's right.
You know what they say.
What's that?
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to build that security in from the ground up
Right.
than try to patch holes after something goes wrong.
It's like closing the barn door after the horse is bolted.
Exactly.
Right.
And when it comes to something as important as your game,
Right.
and
Yeah.
your players' data,
Yeah.
you don't want to be left scrambling.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
So what have we learned today? By taking a deep dive into this Appcharge blog post,
Yeah.
building a secure game is a journey. It's not a destination.
It's not a destination. That's a great way to put it. It's about constantly evaluating your security posture.
Right.
Staying ahead of the curve, making sure you're doing everything you can to protect your game and your players.
We talked about the importance of SOC2 compliance for data security,
Yes.
penetration testing to find those vulnerabilities before the bad guys do,
Right.
GDPR compliance to protect our players' privacy,
Yes.
and let's not forget PCI Level 1.
Yes.
That's crucial, right? For ensuring that all those transactions, especially from our high-value players, are secure.
Absolutely. And the cool thing is,
Yes.
even though we've been talking about Appcharge and their approach,
Right?
these are universal principles.
They are.
They apply whether you're building your game on a platform
Yes.
or going it alone.
It's true. It's good advice for everybody.
Exactly. These are the pillars of a secure and trustworthy gaming experience.
And that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Creating a game that's not only fun and engaging, but also a place where players feel safe and respected.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So as we wrap things up here,
Okay.
I want to leave you with this thought. What resonated with you the most today?
Yeah.
What are some of the things you might want to explore further as you continue on your game development journey?
That's a good question for everyone listening.
Because remember, security is an ongoing conversation.
It is.
And the more informed you are,
Yes.
the better equipped you'll be to navigate this ever-evolving landscape of mobile gaming.
Well said.
And on that note, thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, keep those games secure and those players engaged.
See you next time.